The sun had already dipped below the tree line when the parents realized something was wrong. At first, it was just fidgeting with keys, stolen glances at the empty road. A few minutes late, that could be traffic, a chatty kid holding things up. But as twilight bled into night, the air thickened with something sharper than worry. Whispers turned to shouts. Phones buzzed with frantic calls. 7 second graders, their laughter still echoing from the morning drop-off, had boarded that yellow bus just 10 minutes from home. Backpacks slung low, hands waving through smudged windows. Routine as breathing. But tonight, as stars pricked the black sky, the bus never crested the hill. Half an hour stretched into an eternity. Engines roared to life. Dads peeled out in pickups, moms clutching rosaries. The school line rang dead. And when the first siren wailed down that gravel stretch, dread settled like frost. The bus was not delayed. It was gone. Caleb Morris was 24 that night, badge still shiny, hands steady only because he willed them to be. A rookie deputy with a fresh shave and eyes wide against the dark. He rolled up to the cluster of families under the sodium lamp, their faces pale masks of terror. A father thrust a photo forward, his boy's gap-toothed grin frozen in time. "Find him," the man growled, voice cracking like dry timber. A mother collapsed into her husband's arms, sobbing names into his shirt. Caleb nodded, throat tight. "We will," he said, the words tasting like a vow. He meant it. Even as the hours clawed by, even as spotlights from choppers carved the fields into jagged puzzles, even as K-9 units bayed at shadows and volunteers swept ditches with beams that danced like fireflies. There had to be sense in the chaos. A flat tire. A wrong turn. The driver, Harold Jenkins, a fixture in town, church deacon, little league ump. He would not just vanish with those kids. But dawn broke cold and empty. No yellow gleam on the horizon. No distant rumble of an engine. Just silence, vast and accusing. The search exploded into overdrive that first week. State troopers cordoned off miles of backroads. FBI vans hummed with analysts poring over route logs. Volunteers, farmers in flannel, teachers with bullhorns, tramped shoulder to shoulder through briars, their calls for the children raw until voices gave out. Reporters descended like locusts, mics thrust into tear-streaked faces, headlines blaring school bus vanishes, town in terror. Yet the earth yielded nothing. No shattered glass on the asphalt. No backpack snagged in barbed wire. The only whisper of evidence, faint tire ruts veering off into the pine thicket, swallowed by underbrush before a quarter mile. Teams hacked through with machetes, hearts pounding. Nothing. The bus, Harold, the 7 souls aboard. They had slipped into the ether, leaving a void that sucked the light from everything. For the families, that void became a companion. Hope frayed like old rope, thread by thread. One mother stopped eating, her eyes hollow as the road ahead. A father sold the family farm, unable to bear the sight of the empty bus stop each dawn. The town itself twisted under the weight. What was once a patchwork of potlucks and Friday lights turned inward, suspicious. Whispers slithered through diners. Was it traffickers? A rival school district grudge? Or something uglier? Harold, the quiet man with calloused hands and a nod for everyone, harboring secrets? His wife swore on her Bible he was gentle as rain, devoted to those routes like they were his own blood. But he had vanished too, his pickup parked neat at home, keys in the ignition. No note, no call, just absence. And for Caleb, the absence burrowed deeper, a thorn under the skin. He replayed that night in fever dreams, his gloved hand on a mother's shoulder, the lie of assurance slipping from his lips. They are coming home. 10 years carved him hollow. Now 44, his hair threaded silver, lines etched not from sun, but from nights staring at ceilings. He still drove those roads, badge heavier than lead, but alone in his cruiser save for diesel. A broad-chested German shepherd with eyes like polished obsidian and a nose that unraveled lies the world hid. Diesel did not carry regrets. He padded beside Caleb with purpose, tail a metronome against the silence. But Caleb did. Late shifts found him idling at the memorial, a cluster of weathered toys and laminated smiles at the old stop. "I should have seen it," he would mutter to the dark, as if the pines might answer. Should have known. The case calcified into legend. Files yellowed in evidence lockers, stamped cold like a gravestone. Theories bloomed and withered, A hidden sinkhole, a midnight abduction, even cults in the hills. None stuck. The FBI pulled resources after 6 months, leaving echoes. The school district rerouted buses. Enrollment halved as families fled to cities where ghosts did not linger. Main Street boarded windows. The diner swapped pie talk for hushed what-ifs. Every September, the air soured with memory. Parents double-checked routes, hearts lurching at every delay. And the mothers, those who had lost pieces of themselves, gathered at the memorial, candles guttering in the wind, voices weaving a litany of names. Emily, Jake, little Sophie with her pigtails. Some had gray in their hair now, hands veined and trembling. Others clutched fresh photos, as if time might rewind. That September marked the 10th. The sun sank the same way it had then, painting the sky bruise purple, shadows stretching like fingers across the cracked pavement. Caleb parked his cruiser at the edge of the lot, engine ticking cool. Diesel hopped out, ears perked, the vigil's murmur pulling him taut. The women stood in a loose circle, flames dancing on wicks, faces etched with a decade's erosion. One lit a candle for her daughter, whispering, still waiting, baby. Caleb hung back, uniform starched but soul frayed. He was not here for platitudes anymore. Those had burned him once. He thought of Harold's family, still in town, eyes downcast at church. Good people, they said, but good men did not vanish with children. Diesel shifted then, a low rumble building in his chest. Not a bark, something primal, a warning wired to scent and shadow. His hackles rose, nose questing the breeze like a divining rod. Caleb followed his gaze. The tree-lean, black and impenetrable, where the old ruts had taunted searchers years ago. "What is it, boy?" he murmured, hand on the leash. The dog pulled, insistent, whining soft against the night's hush. The glint came next, a dull flash, half buried in vine and leaf, winking like a guilty secret. Metal, yellowed by rust, but unmistakable. Caleb's breath snagged. 10 years of nothing, and now this? Heart hammering, he unclipped the lead. Diesel surged forward, crashing through underbrush, paws churning loam. Caleb followed, flashlight beams slicing the dark, thorns snagging his sleeves like accusations. The pines parted reluctant, branches clawing at the sky. There, 50 yards in, it hunkered, the bus. Overgrown, chassis sunk into soft earth, windows starred with grime and creepers. Vines choked the bumper like veins. No crash scars, no blaze of wreckage. Just deliberate concealment, as if the forest itself had conspired to hide it. Diesel circled, barking sharp, nose buried in the door's seam. Caleb's radio crackled. Backup inbound. But his hands shook as he wrenched the handle. It gave with a groan, hinges weeping rust. Flashlight swept the gloom inside. The air hit first, stale, laced with decay and something sweeter, like faded wildflowers. Seats sagged, cushions torn by time and critters. Backpacks slumped in aisles, zippers yawning open to spill crayons and crumpled drawings. Then the glint again, not the frame, but paper. Envelopes, yellowed and bundled, wedged under the dash. Photos, edges curled, tucked into a glove box long cracked. Caleb's beam trembled over them. Harold's face stared back from a snapshot. Smiling, arm around a boy not much older than the missing kids. The boy, Tommy Hale, one of the 7. Caleb's gut twisted. Tommy's mother, Lisa, the one who had screamed at him that night. Her eyes wild, fists pounding his chest. "Bring my boy back." He rifled the letters, breath shallow. Handwritten, ink blurred but legible. Harold to his estranged daughter. Lisa's sister, dead 5 years from the bottle. "I could not let him suffer like you did. That man of yours. The bruises I saw at Christmas. Tommy is my blood, hidden all these years. I took the long way home, meant to drop him safe at my place. Explained to the others it was a detour. But the road washed out in the rain. Flash flood no one warned about. Tried to turn back. Bus caught the edge. Went down soft, into the gully. They are gone, and it is my shame to carry. Forgive me, if you can." The pieces shattered into place. Harold, the steady driver, harboring a grandchild in plain sight. Protecting him from fists at home, risking everything for one boy's safety. The detour, not malice, but mercy gone catastrophic. The other children, collateral in a father's desperate gambit. Caleb sank to the step, letters clutched like indictments. Diesel nosed his knee, whining low. Outside, sirens wailed closer, lights fracturing the trees. But in that moment, it was just him and the ghosts. Tommy's backpack, monogrammed with a faded dinosaur. Emily's drawing of a yellow bus under a smiling sun. All of it, preserved in the hush. Dawn crept in as the sight swarmed. Techs in hazmat suits, the coroner with quiet tools. Remains confirmed. The 7, Harold included, lost to the slide, bodies cradled by the earth. No malice, no ring of shadows. Just a grandfather's secret love, twisted by fate into tragedy. The town woke to it slow, headlines softer this time. Lost bus found. A father's hidden heart. Lisa Hale came to the site that afternoon, face ashen, holding a photo of Tommy.